Because Elizabeth Warren one is ridiculous. You're watching her dance, and you're like, how dare you say I can't make fun of this? How dare you?
How dare you? Obviously, it's... And by the way, it's not like somebody put up a cell phone video of her dancing at a wedding.
Right,
no one's going to No one's... That's okay. She's on stage trying to get something from people, and she thinks this will...
Liz Warren blasted the Supreme Court for declaring affirmative action unconstitutional. She's been carrying a grudge against white people ever since she was exposed as one. Let's hope she doesn't go on the warpath. Ooh, yeah. Don't take those blankets.
Nothing screams political satire louder than Elizabeth Warren's desperate attempts to reinvent herself every election cycle. One moment she's posing as the fearless champion of the working class, and the next she's angling for the position of CEO at Woke Inc. Enter Joe Rogan and Greg Gutfeld, armed with sharp wit and zero patience for political theatre. They didn't just mock her, they tore down the entire charade, exposing a mixtape of elite-level contradictions and polished hypocrisy. This takedown isn't subtle. It's a full-blown Category 5 hurricane of sarcasm, brutal honesty, and blistering comedic precision.
Trump was always calling her Pocahontas, and Trump said that if she...
Elizabeth Warren? Who, Pocahontas?
Is it very offensive.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Pocahontas?
She got into Harvard because she claimed she was Native American.
She said she was Native American, but she wasn't able to document it. She said, well, I have high cheekbones. I think she's as Native American.
Senator Elizabeth Warren just released a campaign ad disguised as a DNA test. Or maybe it was a DNA test disguised as a campaign ad. In it, she ladles her DNA results with somber relatives and music, and even includes me. I'm touched, but that happens every time I take the subway.
Elizabeth Warren's political career is like one of those trendy diet shakes that swear by overnight results. Yet all they deliver is bloating, confusion, and long-term regret. She marched into Washington as if she were the chosen progressive messiah, armed with color-coded charts, endless graphs, and more policy plans than an IKEA warehouse. Except none of them came with clear directions, and all roads somehow led to political irrelevance. Joe Rogan and Greg Gutfeld didn't even break a sweat. One look at her resume, a smirk at her overhyped Harvard origin story, and the mockery practically wrote itself. The political circus didn't just begin, it exploded.
Like, I don't know if you saw this, but Elizabeth Warren got confronted.
Big pharmacist 2020, your reason why you don't want RFK Jr. suing Big Pharma?
She got confronted about the amount of money that she's received from pharmaceutical drug companies. She said she's never received any money from pharmaceutical drug companies and never received any monies from any PACs.
I don't take contributions from Big Pharma executives. I don't take any corporate PAC money, and you and your allies already know that.
And then, of course, underneath it, Community Notes strikes again. And of course, she received millions. She's a liar.
It's genuinely difficult to take someone seriously when their presidential campaign leaned heavily on the emotional drama of being sort of, maybe, potentially Native American, if you tilt your head and squint through a cracked microscope on a foggy day. It wasn't just identity politics, it was political cosplay elevated to performance art. Rogan didn't even need to launch a full takedown. Warren did the demolition herself with a DNA test that misfired so spectacularly, it could have been a parody sketch written by Ancestry.gov's imaginary comedy department. Meanwhile, Greg Gutfeld joined in with ruthless flair, joking that her best shot at voter appeal was channeling Pocahontas at a corporate tax reform seminar wearing a PowerPoint clicker and a feathered headband.
So her Native American ancestry may date back 6 to 10 generations. She's potentially 1/1024th Indian, which is 0.09%. Using such standards, I'm Asian, which is why I can't get into Harvard. So no wonder she had to rely on sentiment and victimhood. But this really isn't about history, but her story, and fixing it because it's a mess. Did she or did she not list herself as a minority in law school directories when it suited her, then removed it when it didn't? It's not about her background, it's about cheating. She's a white woman of vast European ancestry who went to the buffet of identity politics and took seconds, then third.
Then there's her theatrical crusade against billionaires. Elizabeth Warren went after the ultra-rich with the intensity of a Shakespearean villain, auditioning for a low-budget community theatre production called Robin Hood's Revenge, Tax the Tech Brothers. The irony, she conveniently overlooked the fact that she was surrounded by multimillionaires and big donors within her own party. Her fiery wealth-shaming rant sounded less like a call for justice and more like a tenured Harvard professor angrily scolding a yacht club buffet for offering caviar. Joe Rogan highlighted the absurdity of her for the people persona while packing her campaign with coastal elites, Ivy League strategists, and hedge fund leftovers in tailored suits. Gutfeld, never one to hold back, mocked her tax plan as having all the accuracy of a blindfolded toddler armed with a crayon and a dartboard during a sugar rush.
They did that thing about Elizabeth Warren. Oh, I did find out what percentage she is. Elizabeth Warren, who claimed to be Native American, and she did a test. She's like 1/100th of what I am. Like, it's literally like her saying she's a Native American is literally like me saying I'm African American. But I have more of a claim. I have far more, like more than, I think, some insane number, factor of more African in me than she has Native American. And I'm not even remotely Native American, or remotely African, rather.
Yeah.
I'm 1.6%. I have 1.6% African in me. And she has, like, some really stupid number.
She proudly claimed to be the voice of the middle class, yet her policy proposals read like they were scribbled on the back of a $48 Whole Foods receipt. Organic buzzwords, zero substance. Her version of empathy involved endless lectures about structural change, while the average working American was just trying to hold on to their job, pay rent, and maybe afford a halfway decent sandwich. Joe Rogan drove the point home with brutal clarity, comparing her economic revolution rhetoric to how a vegan talks about their diet. Loud, relentless, and completely disconnected from everyday reality. Gutfeld wasn't far behind, dubbing it financial fanfiction, and quipping that the only revolutionary thing about Warren was how fast people grabbed the remote to change the channel whenever she started talking, especially during primetime debates.
You know Liz Warren. She's the former Native American princess who gave up truth-telling to cash in on telling more lies. In her latest fundraising email, she brings up how she was visibly pregnant when, quote, the president told her the job would go to someone else. It's another story in which she portrays herself as the oppressed, faking victimhood to gain an edge over others, including real victims. However, her pregnant victim story fell apart when school board records obtained by the Free Beacon shows the school offered her a new contract. She quit anyway, backing up the tale she told back in 2007 when she said she left by choice.
Let's not forget the painfully awkward moment when Elizabeth Warren tried to connect with average Americans by live streaming herself drinking a beer, as if it were some sacred, relatable ritual. It was the political equivalent of your grandma fumbling through her first TikTok dance, bless her heart. Warren looked less like a leader and more like someone desperately trying to manufacture a genuine moment, only to become instant meme material. Joe Rogan tore into it, saying the whole performance had the authenticity of a corporate ad for ethically sourced socks written by AI. Gutfeld followed up with a jab so sharp it left a mark. Elizabeth Warren doesn't drink beer. She sips regulatory white papers through a biodegradable kale straw. And then came her public speaking style, another accidental masterclass in comedy. Rogan quipped it was like watching someone emotionally yell at a malfunctioning Excel spreadsheet. Gutfeld added that her tone reminded him of a cranky teacher lecturing a room full of adults who just wandered in looking for free snacks and a quiet place to sit.
There's two!
Yeah.
Oh, no! That would... Oh, no. She keeps
so
doing this.
Stiff. She looks like her back is welded. Like it's all one
She's
piece.
doing all this
like
dancing moves.
Everything is moving like this.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah. She's a robot. She's barely real.
It's about being white. You know,
that's weird because I thought she was Native American.
Well, that's what I said. You know, so obviously Bernie's lying about saying women can't win, or Elizabeth Warren is lying about him saying that. And I'm not going to accuse a Native American of lying. I'm just not going to go there.
Good for you. She is 1/1000th Native American. So that's real. That's a real number. So maybe.
Then came Elizabeth Warren's frantic attempt to out-progressive every candidate on the debate stage. Medicare for all. She was all in until she wasn't. Then she kind of was again, depending on the polling. Joe Rogan compared her healthcare stance to a chaotic choose-your-own-adventure book where every ending somehow involved higher taxes, bureaucratic red tape, and a headache. Greg Gutfeld didn't hold back either, mocking her plan as the policy version of a grocery store receipt that just keeps expanding while you're still trying to figure out who bought the $47 cantaloupe and why. Warren's constant policy flip-flopping made her resemble a gymnast attempting triple backflips on a tightrope suspended over a pit of voter exhaustion and deep skepticism. Her feud with Bernie Sanders was political theatre at its finest. One moment they were comrades building sandcastles in the socialist sandbox, and the next she was publicly accusing him of sexism with a rehearsed jab that felt as recycled as her slogans. And don't forget her obsession with regulation. She doesn't just want to rein in big tech or redistribute wealth. She wants to micromanage the entire economy like a suburban mom color-coding Tupperware at a neighborhood garage sale. Rogan eviscerated her platform as pure fantasy economics, big promises, vague numbers, and the logistical clarity of a fortune cookie.